Good morning, everyone, and happy Wednesday. It is Julie here with your TipRanks pre-market morning update, where we're bringing you everything you need to know before the market opens. So let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back, and thank you all so much for being here. This morning, we're going to focus a lot on notable earnings reports, as those are dominating the headlines this week with a ton of big names reporting. So we have a few from last night and some fresh off the press this morning. We'll also take a quick look at this morning's biggest gainers and losers. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and that you're subscribed to the channel as well, so you can stay up to date with all of our latest videos. All right, let's jump right into these notable earnings reports. Starting off with a quick look at U.S. futures this morning, they are mixed while staying fairly flat. Currently, we have Dow futures up 0.08%, S&P futures down 0.02%, and NASDAQ futures down 0.09%. In earnings reports this morning, we're still waiting to hear from some big names like Boeing, General Motors, McDonald's, and Spotify. And in the after hours, we'll be hearing from companies like Ford, Teladoc, and eBay. Just this morning, we heard from Coca-Cola, whose earnings and sales both came in ahead of analyst expectations. Coke is seeing a recovery in its away-from-home channels like restaurants and movie theaters, which had cratered this time last year. Their earnings per share came in at 65 cents versus the 58 cents expected by analysts. They saw revenue of $10.04 billion versus $9.75 billion expected. The company increased their forecasts for their full-year organic revenue growth and adjusted earnings per share. Analysts currently rate the stock a strong buy with an average upside just shy of 15%. We've yet to see any analyst reiterate price targets following the report this morning. Last night, we heard from Robinhood, whose shares dropped in the after hours following a weaker than expected third quarter report. Robinhood reported quarterly net revenues of $365 million, which was up 35% from the same quarter last year, but it did fail to surpass the consensus estimates of over $431 million. The company reported a quarterly loss per share of $2.06, which was much wider than the consensus estimate of a loss of $1.36 per share. They have reported a loss of 5 cents per share in the same quarter last year. Their stock is currently rated a moderate buy from analysts with an average upside of over 30%. We also heard from Microsoft, who delivered solid results for their Q1 2022, with both earnings and revenues surpassing estimates, driven by solid growth in the cloud department. Revenue in their Q1 was up 22% year over year to $45.3 billion, exceeding the consensus estimates of $43.97 billion. Their GAAP diluted earnings per share increased 49% compared to the same quarter last year to $2.71, exceeding analyst estimates of $2.07. During the quarter, Microsoft returned $10.9 billion to shareholders through stock buybacks and dividends, which was an increase of 14% compared to the same quarter last year. Their stock is rated a unanimous strong buy with an average upside of 12%. We also heard from social networking company Twitter, whose shares were up a couple percent in the after hours following a report that had revenues in line with expectations, but posting a wider than expected loss per share. Revenues of $1.28 billion rose 37% year over year and were in line with consensus estimates. They posted a quarterly loss of 54 cents per share when the street expected a profit of 17 cents per share. This huge loss was driven by a one-time litigation settlement expense of $766 million. Their stock is currently rated a hold with an average upside just shy of 7%. Shares of Visa are down a couple percent in the pre-market, even though they posted better than expected results for their fourth quarter. The company posted earnings of $1.62 per share, up 44% from the same quarter last year, and topping consensus estimates of $1.54. Their quarterly revenues grew 29% year over year to $6.6 billion, surpassing the consensus estimates of $6.52 billion. The rise in revenues was witnessed on the back of strong growth in service revenues and international transaction revenues. Their stock is rated a strong buy with an average upside of 21%. And we also heard from Advanced Micro Devices, who, following a better than expected report for their third quarter, increased their forecast for the fourth quarter. AMD reported third quarter adjusted earnings of 73 cents per share, up 78% year over year and ahead of analyst expectations at 67 cents per share. Revenue surged 54% to $4.31 billion, surpassing the estimates of $4.12 billion. For their fourth quarter, the company anticipates total revenue of $4.4 to $4.6 billion. That would represent year-over-year growth of 39%. The estimate for the same was at $4.25 billion. Their stock is currently rated a moderate buy with an average upside just shy of 1%. Some high-end targets from yesterday, though, are up above 46%. Now let's take a look at which stocks are this morning's biggest gainers and losers. Our biggest gainers this morning are led by Encore Wire following their third quarter earnings report. Under the ticker WIRE, their stock is up 17%. They're followed by Enphase Energy, who also just had a positive Q3 earnings report. Under the ticker ENPH, they're up nearly 15%. And Allogene Therapeutics, under ALLO, they're up nearly 8%, not on any discernible news. Our biggest losers this morning are led by Driven Brands Holdings after their third quarter earnings report. Under the ticker DRVN, they're down 13%, followed by Valneva, who announced the launch of a proposed global offering of American depository shares. Under the ticker VALN, they're down nearly 9%. And Robinhood, under HOOD, following their latest earnings report, they're down 9%. So that'll be everything for Wednesday's pre-market morning update, getting you up to speed with what you need to know before that opening bell. If you made it to the end of today's video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and say good morning in the comments down below. I always love hearing from you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you back here next time.